Hi, Local Dragon Lady here, and it's time to do a deck profile and Duel links. It occurred to me recently that I almost never do these. I do a video talking about what decks I use in this app, but people have been asking me, hey, like what specific cards do you use in your Blue Eyes deck? Like, people see me play with it all the time when I stream, but you know what? I think it's time that I actually go through each card individually. Some people expressed interest, they wanted to play it, and why not? I mean, if you find anything that should be added or removed, hey, go right ahead. So let's just dive right in. This is the deck I use the most often. I do tweak it from time to time, but the core deck typically stays the same. Now, of course, it's Blue Eyes. There are certain cards that every Blue Eyes deck will have, but of course, as individual duelists, sometimes we add a little spice that just makes it ours. And I do have that sort of thing going on here. So the first card I have is the Keeper of the Shrine. Now, this was one of the main cards I used when I played in the WCS, where I got into the regional qualifiers. Busted card. It has a high defense. It can be used as 2 tributes to get out 1 card. So it's great for a normal summon for a Blue Eyes card. But what makes this card so special is that if it's in your hand or in the grave, it's live. Meaning if a dragon monster either on your side of the field or your opponent's side of the field gets destroyed, this card just comes right out. So it's a great form of defense. Level 4, easy to get out. Now the past month or so, I did remove it, but I did put it back in during the past few weeks because it's too good. I only use 1. If you want to try 2, go ahead, but 1 seems to work really well for me. Glowup Bulb. I have encountered other Blue Eyes decks online, but no one seems to use this one. I don't know why. Glowup Bulb, it's banned in the TCG for a good reason. It's a level 1 tuner. It's a plant type that doesn't really matter. You can use it to sync off into monsters. However, once this card's in the graveyard, you can activate its effect to mill the top card from your deck to put it back on the field. And of course, depending on what you mill is crazy. Especially if you mill an egg, you get the effect of the egg at the end of the turn. If it happens to be a Blue Eyes, like a dragon into the grave, if you have a reborn card in your hand, you can bring it back. Excellent card. It's really good in conjunction with the Sage with Odds of Blue. If you normal summon your Glowup Bulb and activate your Sage from hand, you can get out a Blue Eyes card, activate Glowup Bulb in the grave to put it back into the field, sync off, it's just busted. Now, however, it is a once per duel effect, so having just 1 is enough. 3 eggs. This is standard, Whitestone of the Ancients. It's a level 1 tuner. You use the sync off. Once it's in your grave, doesn't matter by what means, by battle, by discard, anything. In your end phase, you can bring out a Blue Eyes from your deck, and that includes the Dragon Spirit of White. I only use 2 of these. This counts as a Blue Eyes card, so once the effect of your egg and the Sage of Eyes of Blue, you can bring this guy from your deck. He can banish one of your opponent's back row cards, and if there's already a monster in your opponent's side of the field and the Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand, you can swap them out. It's really handy, especially if your opponent were to target a Dragon Spirit of White with a card effect. You can I'm going to swap it out with a Blue Eyes White Dragon, and they can't do anything. It's really good. Very good if you have a reborn card in your hand because you can reuse the effect. 3 Sage with Odds of Blue. This is pretty standard. Not every Blue Eyes deck uses it, but in my opinion, you should. This card is crazy. It's a level 1 tuner. If you normal summon it, you can add a egg to your hand because that's a level 1 light dragon monster. Even the other egg you can add. And same thing with the Maiden with Odds of Blue if you happen to play her. I don't really play her anymore. I used to. It's not a bad card at all. Like, if you want to use her, go for it. But I don't know. Ever since I removed her, it's this deck has been gelling. So, and of course, if you have an effect monster on the field and you have Sage with Odds of Blue in your hand, you can discard them from your hand, target the effect monster, and get a Blue Eyes card from your deck. And that includes the Dragon Spirit of White. So yes, I use 3 Sage with Odds of Blue. Incredible card. 2 Cosmo Brain. In older builds, I used to have 3. 2 seems to be that sweet number. It's really good when you have a Dragon Spirit of White because it counts as a normal monster in your hand and in the grave. And same thing with the 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. I have 3 of those. You discard a normal monster from your hand, and you special summon the Cosmo Brain, and his attack power basically increases by 200. So for each level of the monster. So of course, Dragon Spirit of White and Blue-eyesy Dragon, they're level 8. So right away, he becomes a 3100 attack beatstick. Another bonus with this guy is if you have an effect monster, anyone, could be your egg, bulb, your keeper of the shrine, you can use this effect to target that effect monster, send it to the grave, and you're supposed to summon a normal monster from your deck. So that's going to be either the Blue-eyesy Dragon, and it won't count. The Dragon Spirit of White can come out if it's in your hand, but not from your deck, because the Dragon Spirit of White only becomes a normal monster while it's in your hand or the grave. So not while it's in the deck. 2 Silver's Cry. Okay, I almost never see this card played anymore in other Blue Eyes decks, and I don't really blame them. Most people seem to replace it with the Cards of Consonance for drop power and discard effect, which is fine. You know, I went that route a couple of times, but I love Silver's Cry so much because when you're in a pinch and, you know, if you have a duel that goes the extra mile, that keeps going and going, and you need more bodies on the board, this is how you do it. Get back a Blue-eyesy Dragon, or better yet, Dragon Spirit of White. A lot of times, if I discard a dragon monster, I tend to go with Dragon Spirit of White, because with the Silver's Cry, you can just bring it back. It helps you recycle the back row removal, which to me is extremely important, more than ever. Back row is scary. They do be scary. So yes, like say for example, if you have the keeper in the shrine or in the field, so you do a tribute summon out for the Dragon Spirit of White, bam, that's 1 back row gone. If you swap it out for the Blue-eyesy Dragon and bring back the Dragon Spirit of White with your Silver's Cry, bam, that's 2 back row that's already gone. And hey, if the other one's already in the deck, and you got a Sage of Odds of Blue in your hand, you can use the effect, bring out another Dragon Spirit of White, and that's 3 back row gone. So yeah, 2 Dragon Spirit of White, 2 Silver's Cry. It's, yeah, a back row deck's worst nightmare. So yeah, that's why I love that card so much. 3 is a little cloggy, 2 seems to be that sweet number. Enemy Controller. Card is crazy. 1, I would love to fit 2 in there. 1 seems to be enough. Like ideally, I like this deck to be 20 even. 21 is not that bad. Enemy Controller, it just gets you out of so much trouble. You can use it to tribute one of your eggs. So you get the effective egg, take over one of your opponent's monsters. If it's an effect monster and your Cosmo Brain is on the field, you can get rid of their effect monster that way to bring it up Blue Eyes. For defense, you know, if you have nothing in the field, you can use the other effect to put them in defense position. It's a great utility card. 2, Share the Pain. I might have only seen 1 person ever use this while playing ranked duels, ever, and I don't know why. Share the Pain is one of those spice cards that makes this deck my deck. It's amazing. You just tribute 1 monster on your side of the field, and in return, your opponent must tribute one of their monsters. The great thing about this card is its cost. So it doesn't matter if your opponent were to negate it. So if you have an egg on the field and you tribute it, and your opponent says, I'm going to negate Share the Pain, doesn't matter. Your egg is gone to the grave, so you will get the effect of Blue Eyes is coming out. This is really good for the duelists that rely on boss monsters. The only boss monster this card won't work on is the Quintet Magician, because it cannot be tributed. You can target it, so Enemy Controller is amazing. But I've had this happen countless times. On my opponent's first turn, they go through all their resources to get their big-ass boss monster, you know, something that cannot be targeted or destroyed. Like, hey, they could get a Chaos Max out. Right? That's happened. I had someone who get a Chaos Max Dragon out. My turn, I set an egg, Share the Pain. There's nothing they can do. And almost every time I use Share the Pain, there's like a 10-second delay because they're reading the effect or like, what the hell? Like, what? I gotta get rid of my monster? And sometimes people surrender after I do this. It's underrated card. Give it a try. Might not be for everyone, but listen, when you do it, it's just hilarious. Karma Cut. I didn't use this card for the longest time. So I went through some boosters and I finally got Karma Cut, using just one for now. If I can make room for two, I probably will. But it's a great discard effect, and it's actually really crazy in a mirror match, right? Because you activate it, I can discard a card, which is typically an egg, and you banish their face-up monster, and if there's any in the grave, you get to negate it. So yeah, 2-in-1 specialty card. I don't get to use it that often because I only use one, but hey, it's coming really handy, if anything else, for the discard effect. But who knows? I might replace this with a Cards of Constant at some point. Not really sure. Okay, so the extra deck. 2 blue-eyesy Spirit Dragons. Now, if you don't have to, don't worry about it. Very rarely will I go through 2 of these in one duel. You can replace one of them with the Gigantic Castle if you like. I mean, that's kind of that's a good alternative, because once you get Gigantic Castle out, it's at 3100 beat stick when you use it in this deck. Very, very good. But 2 blue-eyesy Spirit Dragon, it's a grave negate, so it's devastating against Luna Lights, because you target the right card in the grave and negate it. There's not much they can do. Also, it has a nifty effect to swap out for another light, a dragon monster, a synchro monster, which is another really good. So the next card I have is the Vermilion Dragon Mech. It's a machine monster. This is one of the cards I go to the most. It's generic level 9, so yeah, you can sync off more of your blue eyes, your Dragon Spirit of White with any tuner, and you can get this guy out. You banish 1 tuner from your grave. You can destroy any card your opponent has, so it can be front row, back row, really good. This is crazy if you use it with the Glowup Bulb, because once you use the Glowup Bulb's effect, it's basically a dud. So that's free game to, have at it. You can banish your Glowup Bulb to use this Guts effect. And of course, a lot of people forget this, but if your opponent were to destroy the Vermilion Dragon Mech, it allows you to restore a banished tuner back to your hand. And that's happened. I banished a Sacred Oz of Blue one time and someone destroyed my Dragon Mech. I'm like, are you nuts? I got the Sage back in my hand and I wrecked havoc. So yes, this is a must. It's an ultra rare, so it's going to be difficult to get, but if there's any card that you should use in your Blue Eyes deck, you have to get this. You have to, especially considering that the deck has so many tuners. Stardust Spark Dragon. This is one of the cards you can use to swap out from your Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. I don't go into him that often, but he's a great form of defense, because once per turn, well, during anyone's turn, you can use this effect to target a card so it cannot be, basically make it immune. Can't be destroyed by card effects or by battle. So most of the time when I get him out, I'll put him defense, and I'll use the effect to protect himself. So if your opponent only has 1 monster on their field, like a powerful boss monster, they won't be able to get through him. So at least he can stall for time. And the unfortunate thing too with the Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, I forgot to mention, is that once you do swap it out with a light dragon monster, and the end phase, it's supposed to get destroyed. But when you use the effect of Stardust Spark Dragon, that will not happen. Same thing goes for the Azure Silver Dragon, who use the effect to make all of your dragons immune to destruction until the end of your opponent's next turn. So he'll protect himself from the Blue Eyes Spirit effect, but also from your opponents as well, right? And plus, Azure Silver Dragon has the added effect, if you have a normal dragon monster in your grave, during your standby phase, you can bring it back from the grave. So that includes your Dragon Spirit of White. Hey, more back row removal, gotta love that. The last dragon that you can swap out for with Blue Eyes Spirit is Michael, the Arc Lightsworn. You're not using it for the Arc, the Lightsworn effect. What you're using it for is you can pay 1,000 life points, target one of your opponent's monsters and banish it. So this is a non-destruction removal. This would be good against Quintet Magician, for example. Now, of course, you would not want to swap out for him during your turn, because it will get destroyed in the end phase due to Spirit's effect. So you want to do this during your turn. So this happened one time. Like, I had an opponent that did get a Quintet Magician out. So on my turn, what I did is I paid 1,000 life points, got Michael out, targeted the Quintet Magician because you can be targeted, and banish it. So that got around the whole destruction loophole thing. But yes, that is, now the skill I use with this, I almost forgot, the skill is Alternative Evolution. You can build real good Blue Eyes decks with the Ultimate Dragons, but where I've been playing this deck so much, the Alternate Evolution just synergizes with this so well, especially when you want to get rid of 2 cards. What I do, I get the Blue Eyes White Dragon out, turn to a Blue Eyes Alternative, destroy a monster, then I'll get a tuner and sync off the alternative with either Blue Eyes Spirit or the Vermilion Dragon mech to pop another card. And of course, if you already have another Blue Eyes in your hand, you can banish the egg to put the alternative back into your hand, reveal, and the Blue Eyes alternative just comes back out. So you get a lot of value. You have a lot of bang for your buck if you go with this skill. But anyway, yes, what do you think? Is there anything that any of you personally should think I should take out or put in? I'm always experimenting with this deck, any tweaks, but right now this is what I play the most. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this profile. Hopefully I'll do more in the future because yeah, I play Duel Links a lot and people do get curious. So anyway, as always, remember to be a good sport, play the game, not the fame. See you next time.